Hello, welcome to the Musical Moments. Today our guest is Ritzinger. She's a medical doctor specializing in infectious diseases, and she currently lives in Fairfax, Virginia. She loves music and has been playing piano all her life. She was my student when she lived in Sharon, and most of Sharonites know Anne as mother of Charles, Katie, and Stephen. I have a question. When did you begin playing piano and how it all came about?
I was 8, and I had a lovely next-door neighbor by the name of Trudy Salinger, and she had a piano in her basement, an old upright piano that you could put a player roll in there, and it was just a really cool piano, and I was just fascinated, and I was allowed to practice a half hour a day, and sometimes she would extend it 10 or 15 minutes, and I got sent home. But they were wonderful. She'd play a song for me, and it was just great. It was a lot of fun. So then I took lessons till I was 16, and then took lessons for a short time when I was 30. Then took lessons with you for 5 years at 40, which was the best. It's really a wonderful experience as an adult to learn about the composers and the music, and to watch your techniques and watch you teach my children. And it's a real privilege to be here today. I'm on vacation, but this is a wonderful surprise to be able to do this, and wonderful honor. As I moved to Virginia about 10 years ago, and then took lessons down there for about 3 years. Had a lovely teacher down there, and she moved to Florida to be with her boyfriend. So it took me another 3 years to kind of, it's sort of like, it's hard to bond to a new teacher once you've had a really good one. So it takes me a while to get used to someone else. So I finally found another teacher right now, and I've had 3 lessons with my new one. So I'm at it again. So it's it's been a wonderful thing for me. I drive my family crazy, and it's noisy, and they shut the door on me, but that's okay.
Ian, let me ask you something. You have a big family, 3 kids, 2 dogs, a husband to take care of, wonderful house that you keep always in a gorgeous shape. You have demanding job, all those difficult cases and being on call.
I have lots of help.
You do?
Yeah, I do. My husband, we've been married 30 years. He's a great guy. He takes care of us, so I don't have to take care of him. All 3 of my kids cook. My husband cooks. I don't cook, so if they want to eat, they've got to cook. But I've got a wonderful cleaning person. My husband walks the dogs, and I walk the dogs with him. My job is demanding, but I love my job. I love my husband, love my kids, love my job, and love my piano. So it's hard when you have all these things you love. It's hard to fit them all in, but it's easy because you love them all. And what was I going to say? My job, at most I'll work like the weekends I'm on call. They're 15-hour days, and I'll see 40 people. But, I may work 70, 80 hours a week. But, before I go to work in the morning, there's a half hour there where I can play a little Bach. It kind of puts my soul at ease. Even when I was a child, I play when I'm happy, I play when I'm sad, I play when I'm anxious, I play when I want to relax, it's just a tremendous ability I can't sing, so I play the piano.
It's one thing that you play, but you don't just tickle the ivories. After those long hours that you describe, and difficult cases, and being on call, you come home, and you prepare for lessons. You actually take lessons.
But it's something that gives back to me. How to put it? I have some neurologic difficulties that I've dealt with for the past 8 years or so, and I need to take medication for that. I found out at age 48 that probably there's genetic disease in my family with Parkinsonism. And, it happened that my left side got very weak, and, I was falling asleep at night very early, and something wasn't quite right. And so after about a year and having injuries on my left side from working out at the gym, etc., I found out this is what I've had. And so I couldn't play 5 notes at that time with my left hand, but plus I had frozen shoulder on the right, which I recovered from. So I didn't want to accept another loss. So with medication, I can really still keep going. it's not what it used to be, and sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not, depending on how I'm feeling. But it's something I love, and I don't want to declare it as a loss. So I have a great life, and I take care of lots of chronic patients. I take care of lots of HIV patients. So dealing with chronic illness has given me an appreciation for what other people have to deal with in their lives, and how important it is to keep who you are separate from your disease. So I love the piano because it's always been a love, and it keeps me going. And I do yoga, and I've recently signed up for Zumba, and I do jazzercise, always with friends, which makes it very social. And I'm just very fortunate, and my family goes to pitch for me all the time when I'm not there. And my oldest son is now 25, is in law school. My daughter just graduated Mason as a swim coach and runs track. And my youngest one just did wonderfully on his AP exams. He brought home 5 exams in his junior year. He got 4 5s and 1 4. He did AB and BC calculus and chemistry and American history, got all 5s, got a 4 in English. So I'm just really proud of him. Unfortunately, none of my kids want to go into medicine, which is, I'm a little disappointed. And I didn't breed any musicians, but I've got great kids. So.
I thought you'd say that you're disappointed that none of them went to the musical conservatory.
Yeah, I was. They all played piano with Tanya, and I tried to help them along, but fortunately they heard swimming as they're calling. But anyway, they're great kids, and we've had a lot of fun over the years. My daughter Katie still plays quite a bit, and she loves to play Gershwin's Preludes. She does a nice job. She has a little jazz streak through her, which is great. But anyway.
You mentioned that sometimes you have better days, sometimes you have worse days in terms of physical ability.
Yeah.
Are you up to playing today
Sure.
for
Sure,
Sharon
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Great. You have an extensive repertoire. What would you pick for our Sharon friends?
Well, I picked something that's a little easier in the left hand. Well, there's a Chopin Etude that tends to favor the right hand. So I've worked on that one before, and I just enjoy it. So I'd like to share that with you because it's a relaxing piece.
That's wonderful. We'll always.
And it will relieve me from some of my deficits, so I can just concentrate on strengths. So.
Thank you for playing.
Oh,
First of all,
thank you
you for playing, for making music. And second of all, thank you for letting me see that our lessons...
You've taught me some wonderful techniques to help, emphasize and how to get my left hand to cooperate with my right hand, and, separating by 2 octaves, and playing the bass in the right hand to reinforce the left hand, and playing them together, and doing the arpeggios that we used to do, and the 6 that we did up and down. That's wonderful for wrist motion, and just sitting and watching you teach my kids. It was just a wonderful
Thank you.
experience.
Thank you.
I think you're the best.
And thank you. It's not only those professional skills that we're trying to teach, but it's just nice that some people don't tell me, you know what, after they graduated, I mean kids or students, closed the piano, never came by, never played, that hurts.
I know you've been a
That's
wonderful
hurt me.
impact, because my Katie will pick up pieces that you taught me, that you like, the Poulenc. She plays Poulenc, both of those impromptus, because she just loves the music that you pick out. She also plays Rachmaninoff, and she'll play Gershwin, and she'll play the Schumann that we used to do, and some of the other things. And
That's the most important
and you
thing
have
to me.
impeccable taste. I mean, we still play, it's the Pachelbel's canon. It's everybody's favorite at home, so
That's real.
everybody plays that. So.
No wonder people often pick it for the wedding, the best day.
Yeah, there's so many wonderful memories. I just have all this music. I bought a big cabinet, and I have it all in there. It's all saved. It's just priceless, and you know, just great. Anyway. So.
You have played so many different styles. Do you have favorite composers at all, or you?
I have
them
I have three.
Not like some people like kids. Oh, I cannot pick favorites.
No, I have three that I have as favorites for different reasons. I love Bach because it gives me a sense of peace and a sense of coming. I don't know how to explain it. Like he takes you on a journey, and then he brings you home. And it's an experience for both hands and for the whole soul, and you get to really articulate, and he's just wonderful. And then Beethoven I love because of his persistence and how he play. You can hear all his anger and frustration in his music, but he still persisted even though he was deaf, and he had tough childhood, and he had all kinds of problems, but he still was great. And he ends with his Ninth Symphony, third last movement, and he's just an idealist, and I really respect him a lot. Then I love Chopin because he's the most melodic, and he's romantic, and he's just beautiful. And there's so many others I like too, but those are my three favorites. And then I like Mozart too because he just is so bright and so positive, and I have a CD called the Mozart Morning Commute that I would play on my way to work when I'd have to be on call, and he would get me revved up to get going, you know. So, but they're lots of fun. A lot of good people.
Anne, when you said that your family loves to close the door, so you play behind the closed door, I know it was a joke. Your family must love some music. Can you elaborate on your family relationship with the music at all, and with the music that you make?
The piece that was most in demand was the trolley song.
Trolley song? What's
yes.
That?
Well, you know how we used to make copies of the music? Well, I would color code the music with different colored sheets of paper. Well, that one had oh, there goes my keys. That one had a lovely green backing, which was very appropriate when you think about Grieg and gremlins and trolls and stuff like that.
Oh, you're talking about one of the Greek pieces?
Dun, 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 the wedding day at Trollhagen. The kids loved that. They all requested to play it. So Charlie played it, Katie played it. Stephen never really played the piano, and I remember you telling the story. I says, well, how come Stephen likes this viola so much? You said it's like a pet.
He plays viola?
He used to play viola, and he was quite good at it, and he got a prize for it in middle school, but then he went on to swimming. But anyway, so the trolley song was a real favorite one, and then the Pachelbel's canon was really favorite. Oh, I know which one they loved. They loved Dennis Agay's Manhattan Serenade. Remember that one?
Yes, yes.
That was, dun, dun, I can't sing it, but we could play a few bars. It was a great song. And it's just a little bit of a blues, and I remember you gave Charlie a boogie, and he was my jazz hound. He played the entertainer at school, and he had a good time with the jazz. Some other favorites, I'm trying to think. Katie?
You mentioned that they like nice, your husband likes nice, soft music.
He likes sedating music, yeah.
Did you play Claire de Lune for him?
I played Claire de Lune and I played Reverie. That was a fun song to play.
Would you please maybe play an excerpt?
Sure,
Claire
that'd be
de
great.
Lune?
Great. If I get to play the trolley song a little bit too, just 2 bars.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you about other interests besides your professional interests and love of music. I know for a fact that you're excellent with house plans, and I've learned so much from you about books. Every time I want to read something wonderful, I call you, books and movies.
Well, it's mutual. You give me lots of good advice also, and
Is there anything else?
well, I have a couple of veteran house plants in the house, and I used to garden, but I don't do that anymore. It's a little tough on the joints, but I've got some friends that I go out and do yoga with, and I have an old classmate of mine from medical school lives around the corner from me. We go do jazzercise on Saturdays, and Monday nights I go now do Zumba with another friend and go to yoga. So that's kind of fun for me to do, and I like to play around with flowers. I've made a few wreaths and stuff, but I think that's probably more of a familial talent because my mother and father both came from farm country, and my mother has a big green thumb, and so do my sisters have green thumbs. So I think that's something you're just kind of born with. But that's basically what. I love being with my kids, but now they've outgrown me, and I'm an empty nester, so I have more time. I love to shop. I have to say that's one of my favorite things. I'm from New York, and going for a bargain is nothing makes me happier.
Lots of people around here can relate to that. What about your love of curtains? You were making wonderful curtains.
Oh, I used to sew a lot, yeah. I knit, I sew, I crochet. I used to do a lot of embroidery. When I lived in Sharon, we had lived on a house in Wadsworth Way, and I had made curtains for the entire downstairs and drapes and all that kind of stuff. And they're sitting in a box somewhere, but don't do that much anymore. But in the past, and when I was a teenager, my best friend and I, we used to sew dresses and suits and stuff like that. But those were in the polyester days, so they were easy. But
But music comes on top?
Well, I'd like to experiment around, you know. So it's just kind of fun.
And we decided on this interview so quickly on the spur of the moment. And when I asked you to do it, I really didn't know whether you're going to go along, but you were such a good sport.
Oh,
it was
thank you.
so nice to have you here. That our conversation is a little bit different from everything that we had before. We had very, very professional talks.
It was an honor to be here.
And music is not only for professionals, and specifically not for professionals. Music is for an engineer, and for a doctor, and for a teacher, and for a lawyer, and for all walks of life.
It uses all parts of your brain and puts it all together for a beautiful product that's art, which is, you know, no higher than a human person can try to achieve. So I've got tremendous respect for your job and what you do, and how you bring all the talent out of you. You have so many students that are so wonderful, and you bring all that out in them. It just is really, it's really, you really, that's your genius.
Because every one of them is like my first one, or like my last one, or like my only one.
Yeah.
Only one. I don't see them in bunches.
And I just have to say, I feel very lucky. I feel very lucky to sit here. I feel very lucky to have my family, and very lucky to be able to care for my patients. It's a real privilege.
One thing I wanted to mention, thank you, but one thing I wanted to mention before we part, until we see each other again, that people might think that people play music when they have nothing better to do, or their profession is not that taking that much time. But I know your co-worker, who happens to be a parent of my students, and I remember distinctly how he said, "Oh, Anne, but she's a genius."
No, that's not correct. He must have had you confused with someone else. Confused with somebody else.
Not really. So we know that you're one of the top doctors.
Well, I am
for.
very busy at my job, and patients are, I get a lot of strokes from my patients, which I wish my kids would give me, but unfortunately not. I have real teenagers at home to deal with.
Which speaks of music, not that you're doing music because you have nothing better to do, but it's really a worthy
Definitely.
occupation.
Oh, definitely. And if you look in the literature and you look at things, I've gone to some Parkinson conferences and stuff, and they use music at these nursing homes to get people to walk. People listen to music, and it helps their brain come to, it's therapeutic. Music is, you know, really, it's important stuff. It's
not out of boredom.
It's a good workout. It's a good workout for the brain and for the arms and for the soul.
Thank you. We're looking forward
One can
to
even do
you.
yoga breathing when you play the piano. I have to breathe. My other new teacher tells me, says, "Aunt, don't forget to breathe."
I keep saying that for my students too.
Yeah. So,
when they're trying too hard, forget to breathe. So nice to have you, and we're looking forward to seeing you again.
well, I hope we stay in touch. I really hope so.
I go to your place very often, so and please learn another piece for me.
Okay, will do. Will do. Thank you.